I just love the way Winston Duke says it. He's like, they call him Akukukan. Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. And welcome once again not only to Wakanda, but to the beautiful Talokan city. Joining me today to discuss the latest MCU installment, written by Ryan Coogler and Robert Cole, and directed by Ryan Coogler himself. I don't call them king or generals, but rather, I guess ready for this. Akukukan. It's Priscilla Robert. How's everyone doing?
That's a very good impression.
I practiced it. I went to the movie a second time. I was like, I didn't know if I was going to do like the Namor version or the Mbaku version, but I was like, whichever one happens in real time, that's when that comes out. Anyway, how are you guys doing?
I'm alright.
Yeah, same. Doing well.
Priscilla, obviously you and Chizzy covered Rings of Power, but you famously made your incredible debut on this podcast discussing Multiverse of Madness with me earlier this year.
Yeah.
When we found out your very interesting takes about supervillains. So I am very excited to hear your thoughts on Namor. I can't wait till we get there, considering your favorite characters of all time are Magneto and Doctor Doom. So I'm very excited for your Namor takes. I feel bad. Actually, no, I don't. But you're never going to beat these allegations, and part of that is my fault, and I don't even. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, do you know what? It's really I've never beaten the allegation. Every time there's a villain in an MCU film, tell me why Thor: Love and Thunder if people feel I was going to root for Gore. I'm not that bad.
It's who you are. Like, you came on and you were Sauron high for 8 episodes. It's who you just embrace it. Embrace it.
Embrace it.
But before we go into all that, obviously we have to do the quick admin, guys. We are talking about season 2 of White Lotus. If you're watching that, please check in. The latest episode just came out where Obiora and I discussed episodes 2 and 3 of White Lotus season 2. So check this out. Next week, we have some big episodes coming up. TNT will be back on the podcast, and him, Baby, and I are going to be discussing Atlanta season 4, the final season of Atlanta, the Glover's Atlanta. So if you've watched that, if you haven't watched that, watch it, binge the season, and then come to us talk about Atlanta and all the weird turns it took. What else? Oh yeah, TNT will be back as well after that, and him, Ayo, remember Ayo from Industry, and I are going to recommend some episodes. It's been a year, we haven't recommended episodes not episodes, TV shows. We haven't recommended TV shows this year, so we're going to be talking about some of our favorite TV shows of the year that maybe you guys didn't hear about. So the shows are not The House of the Dragon or The Rings of Power, the lowly reported shows. We're going to be discussing those on it. So come check in for this, and then we have some episodes that we'll probably do between the end of the season. As always, please rate and review wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Please follow us on whatever platform that way you get notified when the episodes come up. Again, we talk about Wakanda Forever.
Trust. Born ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Robert, you're right beside me, so I'll start with you. What are your general thoughts about this film?
Generally, I think it was definitely a great movie. There's so much to it. There's so much depth. After the movie, I was listening to a few people that were just speaking about it, and yeah, I think general responses it was great. I have a few off takes that are in more detail, but all in all, great movie. Definitely recommend. Obviously, my fave, Mbaku, my boy, always representing. So yeah, good movie.
Priscilla?
I was so scared going into this because I was like, the first one was so good and it was such a culture phenomenon. Everyone remembers where they were when they first saw the trailer, when they first saw the film. People were in cheekies. I saw someone eating jollof in my screening.
Oh my!
When I first watched it. For the first movie, someone was eating jollof. Lord. So I was like, this one best and slap, and then obviously Chadwick and everything. But no, I loved it. Hot take, I preferred it better than the first film.
Oh, that's a
we might get into that.
I preferred it.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting that you said scared because I was as well, and it wasn't I don't know. Anything can happen, but I wasn't afraid of the movie being good because it's Coogler. There's just so many things. It's Ryan Coogler is one of the best directors of his generation. There's so many things that I was it's going to be a good movie and I'm going to enjoy it because I'm already at MCU shield, and then it's probably going to be Coogler who I already like, so I'm probably going to enjoy it. But I was very worried whether it was going to be worth it. Like, they were taking so many swings, which we're going to discuss. And I was like, would this movie be able to justify its existence? We were like, okay, if everything was going according to plan, Chadwick Boseman was here, it was already a very, very high bar you had to beat, right? To beat the first, and not even to even match the first Black Panther. And then now with everything that's happened, all the delays that happened, like, you're just like, oh, can they actually? Plus the fact that, like, your love of the various Phase 4 MCU movies might vary, right? But the fact is that for one reason or another, a lot of people are like, are we still feeling this MCU thing, right? Like, so just like, okay, this is the final movie of Phase 4. They have to be a good sequel to Black Panther. It has to be a good movie that justifies making a Black Panther where you don't recast T'Challa. And then it has to kind of bring back faith into Phase 4. Just like, oh, there's so much here. But yeah, I went in and yeah, it was a good movie. I expected that. And I was just like, I just couldn't believe how many boxes they ticked. Like how they were able to actually just do a lot of those things. And I was watching the movie and then I spoke to some people after, which kind of confirmed my feelings. I was like, I think this is the first Marvel movie since maybe the first 2/3 of Endgame that isn't a crowd pleaser. Like, this movie isn't, you can't think about this. There are maybe one or two points. This movie doesn't have like, oh wow, that was the cheering moment. That was like the big thing. It was just like, it's a very, very somber movie for obvious reasons, obviously. And then I was like, this is, for most MCU movies, you need to have some knowledge about things that have happened before, right? To kind of fully enjoy it. But sometimes you can just come in and watch and like take it. Even if you take it at 7%, it's still a good fun 7%. I was like, oh, this is the first time that I think you actually really needed like an emotional connection, not only to the MCU, but like to Chadwick's passing to fully grasp. Because if you come in and you're a casual MCU viewer and maybe, obviously, you know Chadwick passed, but maybe you've even forgotten, and what this movie like, it doesn't have the thrills, it doesn't have the oomph for you. The big moments are very, very small, for lack of a better phrase. And just like, I was like, oh, this actually requires a lot from the audience, it requires a lot of emotional connection and history with the audience. So I was like, yeah, I was like, this is the first movie since Endgame that is not trying to please. It's not trying to please like all four quadrants. It's like, we know who we made this movie for, and we hope those people enjoy it, but like, we're not really like trying to please them. So yeah, that was my initial reaction to the movie, but I just really, really enjoyed the movie.
I think that's an interesting one though, because I feel like on the pleasing points, it does do a few of those things at some places. Mm-hmm. I think the Shuri definitely not thinking that she had her powers, then her powers coming when she punched the mannequin. I think her getting stabbed and pulling herself out, that was definitely a wow, like raw. Like, not a lot of people know about the healing factor that the thingy gives you.
Heart-shaped
herb. Like,
herb gives you.
That was like, wow, like raw. Like, someone who's fresh coming in is like, oh, mad, like, you can actually heal from that. I think there's still elements of that still within it. If you're comparing it to the first one and T'Challa coming back and surprising everyone, I think it doesn't lose its sense of purpose though, and I completely agree with it, because I felt like it was kind of like a dedication towards everything that the first one was meant to be, how the first one was meant to go from there. The montages towards Chadwick Boseman as well, like I love that. And
yeah, I think you're right, because I think this is the first MCU film, and I would argue since probably Winter Soldier, that it's actually just a good film, if that makes any sense. Like, it's something, because whenever someone asks me what MCU film, when I say like a good film, like, I mean, like, not that the others aren't good films, but like the way Winter Soldier is a political thriller. So if someone likes watching Homeland and stuff, I'm like, oh, if you like that sort of political stuff, you can watch this. That's my always go-to MCU film. If people want to watch it, it's always the first one I say, or the first Black Panther, due to the actual reverence it causes. This film was just a good film. If you remove all the superhero elements out of it, like that, which wasn't really that many in the grand scheme of things, because the core thing was about the characters and their emotions and how they're grieving and stuff. It was just a good film, and anyone who's ever lost anyone in that way or anything could probably sit, watch it, and completely relate to it, which I think Phase 4, in some films it did well in, as in No Way Home, it hit home in some things, and in Moon Knight it hit in other places, and in Loki and stuff. But then the last slate of it haven't really hit the emotional beats it's intended to hit. Whereas this hit every single one. I was like, yeah, I get exactly what you're trying to portray and convey in every situation, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. I mean, look, the MCU-ness of this film is the weakest part of this film. I mean, we can touch on it now, but like, yeah, we can touch on it now, actually, there's no point. Like, Val coming in is like, I'm like, oh, wow, I gasped in this, because, look, I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's one of probably my favorite TV actresses of all time. Like, Veep is on my Mount Rushmore. Like, I love her as an actress. I love her performances. I loved seeing her. But then when you look at the movie, you're like, oh, this actually, it takes away from the movie. I know why it has to be there. And I'm not even complaining, because, look, people are like, oh, the MCU-ness bogs it down. And look, it can't, like, when you have a successful universe, it gives and it takes. Like, the MCU-ness is the reason the MCU is where it is, because everything has been connecting year after year, and before it was good. They can't stop it now. So yeah, like, sometimes it's good and it helps the story, sometimes it doesn't, but it needs to be there because it needs to make sense for Thunderbolts when it comes out, or whatever. It gives and it takes, so I'm fine with it. But that's probably the weakest part of the film. I mean, she's in the movie maybe 5 scenes or whatever, but like, you're like, oh, okay, maybe we should focus on the Wakanda grieving, but we can't because it's the MCU movie, and that's fine. But like you said, the superhero-ness, the universe-ness is probably the weakest part of the film, right?
I think on that though, I think another reason why that kind of tends to hold is because it's the first one since everything that happened since Endgame. It's the first release that actually doesn't focus on the snap.
Yeah,
true.
Because at no point was that a main tie into anything. It was focused solely on loss, and not even the loss from the snap. We lost T'Challa. We later on lost Ramonda, and yeah, so it's just focusing solely on their people and how they fit in within the wider world.
Yeah, I think that's why Endgame just kept on coming to my head, because like for Endgame, there's one action scene in Endgame. Obviously, it's the very big one and it's the end. But like I think Endgame is a 2.5 hour movie maybe. So for like an hour 45 minutes, it's really just these guys grieving the world and then trying to, obviously there's a time heist and everything, which is obviously very fun. But like the time heist, if Endgame's your first film, time heist means nothing to you. Like, why are we back in this random event like fight? Why are we back in Camp Lehigh? And it's like, so yeah, I think it's the first one that really needed a kind of emotional connection. But we've skittered around it a bit. Let's actually just start with actually the beginning of this film. There are a lot of themes in this film. There's a lot of movie in this movie, which we're not going to cover all of it. We're going to skip all of it intentionally just because we don't have time. And like the movie, kind of like the first Black Panther, it deals with things like white imperialism. In this one, it deals with like black and brown allyship. The fact that these white men are the ones that have been killing us for centuries, as Namor can attest to. But I want to really focus on two of its really interconnected themes. Obviously, grief, which I think is the most important one, and then vengeance, which you can discuss when we're talking about Shuri later. So this movie starts in a way I didn't expect it to start. Like, I thought the movie was going to start with T'Challa already dead. Like, I thought the movie was going to start with like him dying in battle or something, and then the movie would start with his funeral. Like, them choosing Coogler, and credit to Coogler and Joe Robert Cole and Nate Moore and Kevin Feige and everybody, because like they take so many risks in storytelling, especially when you're telling a story that is. Look, the predominant audience for this kind of movies are younger people. They are not used to such heavy or heady material. That's not a slight on anything. That's just the way things are, right? So if you're telling a superhero story and you're kind of really just starting the movie with like, here, this is more death. And like, yeah, let's talk about the beginning of this film. The movie starts with Shuri trying to recreate the heart-shaped herb so she can heal T'Challa. And it was, I think we were together when Chadwick passed.
Yeah.
Because we were at a friend's house and it was like 4 a.m. and like, I think we like 6 of us left. It was like, the air just fell down when we got the news at like 4 a.m. And I was like, and watching the beginning of this movie, it took me back there, because like obviously we never see T'Challa for obvious reasons, but like neither does Shuri. Like Shuri is not there at the end. Like Shuri is kind of like most like all of us, like away from T'Challa stroke Chadwick passing away. He dies from a mysterious illness, kind of like how Chadwick's death was like. Obviously, we know what it was, but like at that point, it was something mysterious. Like 48 hours before, we did not know he was suffering, and he just dies. So it's like, and obviously, there's everything that Shuri is trying to heal him, and she has all these gifts, and like she can't do it, and the entire movie she's fighting between her mind and her science versus like her heart and her religion and everything. And having Angela Bassett as Ramonda come and say, "Look, your brother is with the ancestors," it's just like. I don't know how to put it. Like, this movie is a very interesting document because I don't think I've ever seen a movie. I don't think there's ever been a movie in which, and please bear with me, the characters are mourning a character, but at the same time, the actors are mourning the actor that played that character, and then we are mourning that same actor and character. So, like, it's like everything is happening. It's not if there was a movie, even if it was Happy Hogan and Rhodey discussing Tony Stark, they are mourning him, but we know RDJ is still alive, so there's like a layer of remove from it.
Yeah.
But in this case, no, we know Angela Bassett when she said that she's actually talking about Chadwick as well. When Letitia Wright is crying, that's probably Letitia Wright crying for someone that she considered her brother as well. So it's just so much that happens in this first 10-15 minutes. And personally, please feel free to interject if you have anything to say. But personally, I found myself maybe like 30 minutes in or 20 minutes in, whenever they're going to Cambridge to get Riri Williams. And I was like, I almost had to tell myself, oh, this is a superhero movie. Like, you're allowed to have fun. Because I realized that I had spent all the time just still processing the beginning of the film. And also like Ramonda and Shuri's conversation by the fire. Like, I knew it was a good movie I was watching, like from the first frame. But like I wasn't having fun. I was like, oh, because my brain is still processing everything. I'm still trying to, and it's a big risk for Coogler to start a film like that because you might not get your audience back when you start a movie like that. Like they might be so checked out and they're just like so sad throughout the movie. But like obviously, I guess they believed in what they were doing and the story they were telling. So like, which leads me to Riri Williams, who, from like kind of like the reviews I've read of things I've seen anecdotally, she's kind of getting the brunt of her, obviously mostly Valentina, but also Riri kind of getting the brunt of the MCU-ness, like which I've stated with Wakanda and everything. And we were like, maybe her story is a bit of dissonance to the Wakandas and everything. There's some merit to that argument, definitely. But when Riri Williams appears on screen and when they're in her dorm room, apart from obviously M'Baku's incredible bald-headed demon line, like
that's such a bar.
Everyone in my cinema died
twice. Both times I watched it, they both start laughing. But like Riri is the only person that gets laughter, at least in my two screenings.
Yeah.
And I think without her, the movie is leaner. Obviously, the movie might be more direct to the point. But without her, I'm not even sure if the movie works. Because I feel like it's just like, it's a difficult hang if like she's not in this movie. It's like,
no, you're right.
It's like CGI Manchester by the Sea. It's just like, I'm just sad throughout. I don't have any.
You're so right. Because I was wondering if anyone was in the same, because it's weird. Watching this film was very weird grieving. Because I lost my grandma like nearly 7 months ago now. So I was already excited for the film. And then that happened and I was like, oh shit, this is going to make the film even a lot worse for me to watch, because before you're just grieving Chadwick and now you've got an added layer of how will I relate to this? What stage of grief will I be in when I'm watching it? So I remember sitting there watching it and I'm still in the Shuri frame of mind, not when she met Killmonger. I'm still in the stage where she was in the complete denial stage. I was sitting and watching it and it's as if I wasn't allowing myself to laugh. Like even M'Baku got one laugh out of me, and I think when Riri came in, I was like, "Oh, thank God," because I think I wasn't allowing myself to actually be like, "Yo, chill." Like this is an MCU film; they're gonna say funny stuff. You're allowed to laugh. Yeah, but it was so heavy. Rightfully so, it was incredible.
Oh, I love that it was heavy. I felt like I was in
it was a weird headspace because I was processing my own grief, and then at the same time, you felt like you were in Wakanda. So I felt like, oh, I'm there, and I'm feeling exactly what they're feeling, losing to Charlotte, and then obviously losing Chadwick. And then when Riri came, I thought, thank God, it was like someone popped a balloon, and she called Fingy's head ashy, and I thought that's what I needed to hear. I
you're
just
right.
needed
Like,
someone to make me laugh.
you got permission to laugh.
Yeah, because like even when Letitia, like Shuri said the Fenty line, I giggled, but I wasn't really hee-heeing. And then
You're not.
I was not in the headspace. And as soon as Riri came in, because she was such like a light, in each scene she came in, she got the loudest laugh of anyone.
Yeah, actually,
like even the scene when
I'm actually wondering now if that's
right.
also partly because she never interacted with T'Challa. So like we feel like she's like she's just completely a blank slate too. She's like, yeah, come on, like we can laugh. Like the jokes might not be funny, some will be funny, some will be funny, but like you can laugh at this and we can actually get on to having fun. And obviously then it goes on to the car chase. Can we talk about the Marvel crawl, the Marvel credits thingy, which this guy is definitely, like, I don't know why, but somehow, or for some reason, this stuff was more emotional the second time I watched it. Both this and the end of the film. And I didn't expect, I thought, okay, because I know what's happening, I would be like, nope. I think the fact that I knew I was like, luckily, the second time I watched it, when they're doing the funeral bit, the final bit, there's this woman and her children came and like were looking for their seat right in front of me. So that kind of distracted me. I was like, okay. It took me away, so I wasn't like too focus on it, but then when the Chadwick montage happens in the crawl, I was just like, yeah, this is a lot. Look, rightfully so. I'm so happy they did this. I'm so happy they didn't shy away from it. But I was like, yeah. So obviously all of that, and then you're like, okay, this is I get it. I get the pain, and yeah. But I was just, yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting though, because that's not the first one that they've done of just Chadwick. I think they've done it before. I can't remember what movie it was. It was just after he died.
I feel like I've seen.
Yeah, they changed the Black Panther one. So the Black Panther one is now just of him. Yeah. It's just of him.
But I think you obviously relate to it, or it holds you a bit more because you know what movie you're about. Oh
yeah. And what just happened?
Yeah.
Literally just in his funeral 5 seconds before. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. One, I would not recommend watching this movie in 4DX once again. So I made that mistake.
Just for our listeners,
just for the listeners.
To them what 4DX is. Our 5 listeners.
4DX is you're obviously watching the movie in 3D for starters, so the screen is in 3D, and then you feel everything. So it tries to mimic the motion that you're going through in the movie. So it's kind of like sitting in a mini roller coaster. So you sat on the chair is like moving with all the different movements. When there's water splashes on you. When someone punches someone, you get punched. So that's not great. And yeah, I'll definitely not recommend holding any hot drinks while you're watching this movie either.
That's just your fault. I don't know. I don't know. You knew what you were going to watch and you took a hot drink in.
No. I relate. I watched No Way Home like an idiot.
You watched No Way Home in 4DX.
But the way when all the Peters were swinging, I'm like, y'all better stop swinging. And I had an ice cream and I thought this was not smart.
Yeah.
This was not smart. So I was trying to eat it and then they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing this. No.
I've only seen...
I relate. Yeah. I'm going to allow you.
I've only seen Dune in 4DX, which I really enjoyed. I need to pick the right movie to, like, I think Dune was nice, but I also knew I didn't go with any drink or popcorn to watch a 4DX movie.
And the reason why I mentioned it is it kind of removes for me, it removed a bit away from the funeral because for example, during the procession, your chair is moving and I'm like, bro, I kind of, bad timing. Like,
I want to be in this.
I want to be in this. And then when the plane comes down to like pick up his body, your chair moves as well with the plane that's coming. So I've been speaking about this, so the point of reference is a bit weird on the movie for 4DX, so you're kind of in the third person rather than the first person. So I prefer that when something's happening to someone in the movie, it happens to you, not when someone's seen something happen, you kind of feel that thing happening to the other thing. So I don't want to be watching a plane and then I'm moving with the plane. I want to be in the plane and moving with the plane, if that makes sense. But
so, do you want me to just cut this part and send it to Cineworld?
Yeah, you actually should. Oh my days! Because I'm paying how many pounds a month for my membership.
I can tell them that you have some 4DX thoughts.
They need to know this.
Yeah, I mean, the movie is essentially a vessel for grief. And like I said, one of the other points I was thinking about before, and like, let me get it clear. When the Namor and the Talcum, what do you call it?
The B-Tech Avatar people.
Oh my God.
I just kept thinking of Avatar.
Is that
whenever I saw that.
a bit of racism in there?
No, it's just, look, Disney didn't do a good job having Avatar
No, because that
previews
was
before
the
this movie. That doesn't help them.
Because the Avatar preview came before, and then I was like, this looks familiar.
I might be the biggest Avatar hater, but right, Jim Cameron has spent 14 years making this movie. Look, in terms of CGI, those movies blow out any, like, I was like, Disney, man, do you really want to put the Avatar trailer before Black Panther? Like, the CGI is better. Like, are you sure you want to do this? But anyway, my point was like,
Sure.
I want to be clear that I did enjoy, like, their raid on the CIA SEAL team.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Sea base. Like, I wasn't that far that I wasn't enjoying that. It's just like, when Namor throws the helicopter around, he's standing there like, that's Zack Snyder's perfect version of Superman. He wants him to be angry like that. I'm sorry, that was a random, unnecessary shot.
No.
At Zack Snyder.
No, he needs that.
No, but I was going to say, yeah, so this movie very expressly is bookmarked by obviously two emotional tributes to Chadwick and T'Challa, and then you have the Ramonda death in the middle, which I was just like, you niggas really just want to kill Shuri, don't you? Like, I honestly did not think Ramonda was going to die because we already did a Chadwick funeral. Or a T'Challa funeral, sorry, excuse me. I was like, you can't kill Ramonda as well in this movie. And then they did it, and I was like, oh my God.
They're so sick for that. No, when you deep who she's lost her dad, and she loved her dad. She lost her brother, and them two are not just brother and sister.
Oh, yeah.
They were tight.
Yeah,
so she loses the one person she idolizes and the one person who can make him smile and be human.
Mm-hmm.
Then she loses her mom, Kevin Feige. Yeah, Kevin Feige. He's got a thing against teenagers, yeah, because he did the same thing to Peter Parker. I'm not liking it. They need to stop.
America.
They need to stop.
America lost both her moms. America Chavez.
It's too much trauma. He hates kids.
Well, they didn't die. They're just missing somewhere.
Missing for how many years?
They're missing somewhere in the multiverse.
All she knows they're dead. Like, Kamala Khan better watch out, because like, her parents might be next. You might be right. Feige might really hate.
No, he hates kids. He said, "Fuck them kids." Truly, because I thought after Peter Parker, I thought, yeah, he will never make someone suffer like this in one single movie. That's it. He'll be the only one. He lost his girl, he lost his best friend, lost his aunt, his surrogate dad's gone. I thought, yeah, no one's gonna suffer like this. Then I saw this and I thought, yo, she's just buried her brother. And you go, you know what? The one person who she loves, the only person in the world who exists right now for her, who's trying to be the one support network. Yeah, let's get rid of her as well. Because I thought, now, who else is going to go? You're going to kill Okoye now? You're going to kill Nakia now?
I don't know. Maybe we don't want Miles in this movie, in this universe.
Yeah,
maybe
no, because I will scream racism. I will scream racism if they do that to him. I will scream it. You kill his uncle.
Yeah, we should. Anyway, yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, it's a lot.
Actually true. And I think that was my one gripe with it, because like I didn't like the fact that she died, because I'm a massive Angela Bassett as Ramonda fan.
Okay, welcome to the club. You're not revolutionary by loving Angela Bassett in Ramonda.
No. I'm like a massive fan. Like some of the reason why I go.
Did you see Angela Bassett's arms in this movie?
When she was swimming, I was like,
my
bro,
God!
Like she's clearly trained for this movie.
No, she went gym.
She actually did.
Like when she's at the UN. Oh, we'll get to that when I talk about Ruth Carter.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, no.
No, she got busy.
Wait, your problem was that she died?
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense story-wise, because, like, Shuri needs to lose everything to get into that venge. It's the same thing with Peter, actually, in No Way Home. He needs to lose everything to get into the part where he's about to kill the Green Goblin.
But you don't need to do that now.
Yeah, like, put her in a coma. Like, you don't need to kill her.
You don't need to kill her.
Like, one step too far.
It was a lot.
No, because the way I was...
Namor is like, you're the queen now. I was like, oh my God.
When he said more... No.
That pissed me off. That actually pissed me off. No need.
I was like, racism not? What? You're killing... No, because I've got an agenda against him, yeah. This guy, watched our people die in the seas. You did nothing.
Yeah, but like, are we going to say that?
That's a very good point.
No.
That's a very
What are you guys talking about? The actual black people let slavery happen on their continent.
Oh, you sound hella white, bro.
No. I'm an ally.
Did you just say black people sold themselves as well?
No. I'm saying Wakandans let slavery happen on the continent. So why are you blaming Namor for not in the seas?
But then
Because
he
Namor's
thought,
whole
then
point
he
was
thought,
that they should come and help
exactly. Then he thought, that's not enough. Let me drown these people. Is you alright? No, I was like, racism, no.
We'll get to Namor. We'll get to Namor. Incredible.
No, he lost me. I was there. I was with him. I was like, yeah, come on, anti-white man.
She says he lost. She says he lost her, but
he lost.
We'll get there.
He lost.
I have proof that he did not, but we'll get there.
Also, on the balance of the books as well, though, like the person that was killed was a foot soldier that was a sideman, and he went and killed the queen of Wakanda.
Wait, what do you mean? Who was killed?
You know when they broke Shuri out?
Oh,
yeah, but he was like
on the balance of cards.
He still killed a Negro. It counts.
Well, going too far ahead, but he told her he was going to kill her. Like he was like, if anybody comes in, I will kill you. So he just like he's a man that sticks to his ideals and his word.
I want to.
That's all I'm hearing.
For the people listening to this, please don't cancel me.
I did not think I was going to be the Namor savior on this podcast. That's not what I expected to become.
No, because my head's hot now.
Let's finish with the big things before we go into Namor. Like I said, one of the other things that was on my mind was the Shuri Ramonda discussion, in which, like, I mean, look, I think I've discussed it when discussing Black Panther 1, that the first Black Panther was kind of the first few movies that actually brought me close to crying. Even though in recent time I've been getting very emotional at film and TV, and I don't understand what's going on. Ayo says his old age, but I don't know. Like, I'm getting quite emotional. And I don't like it.
He's getting soft.
Because I'm not trying to cry in the cinema. But like the first one was like, and it wasn't, there was no big emotional moment. I think it was a very random, because like, I think I've mentioned it on this podcast, but it was when
Killmonger said, "Hey, auntie."
Yeah, I cried at it. I was like, oh, Killmonger. No, it was when they were going to T'Challa's like coronation fight for coronation, whatever, and then you have Ramonda and Shuri dancing on that float. And I remember like saying, I was like, that just reminded me of like because they're dressed in very African garms and they're dancing African music, talking drums and all. I'm like, it just reminded me of like seeing my mom and her sisters and everybody dancing. I was like, oh, that's quite emotional. And then I did not think, I guess going in, you kind of know because what this movie is, but like back then, I would have thought that like this movie would make me emotional for a completely different reason. But it's like that Shuri conversation, and you can see it. Anyone who's been through any kind of grief, literally no matter what stage you're even in, you kind of know what Shuri is doing. Like, you know that she's bearing herself in her work. She's upfront. She's like, look, I'm not going to sit down and think about this thing because there's only one thing that's going to happen. Look, I've been there. I'm sure people have been there. Like, you know that like if you spend time thinking about the trauma or the loss that you've had, like the only thing that's going to come out is that you can just get very angry. And Shuri's like, who is that going to serve? I don't believe that he's in another plane. It's not as if I need to think about him because he's in the spirit realm or whatever. I believe he's completely gone. So like, what's the point of thinking about him? I'm just going to become angry and I'm going to like want to burn down the world in her words. And I don't know. I just felt like the movie and grief and just the way it depicts the grief, and then we'll talk about Shuri's journey a bit later. We'll talk about her in particular, but watching the movie with the experiences I've had, with the experience lots of people have had, really, there's nothing about like the way the way T'Challa passes away is that so many people in the last few years have lost someone where they couldn't be there, right? They couldn't be there when that person passed, and he's like, you're there. Like, if you're young and your parent passes away, you're probably not going to be by their side because the people are trying to protect you. Some people have lost somebody when they're not there by the time. It's just so recognizable. And I just felt like the way they handled the grief, the way they did what they did. Nakia literally saying, I couldn't be there because I needed to be away and allow myself break. It's like, obviously only a movie character can articulate their feelings like that. Nobody in real life knows that that's how their brain's thinking, because unfortunately we're not all written by Ryan Coogler. But like that's sometimes that's what you need to do. You just need to go away and just allow yourself break. And so I don't know. I just really like the way different people grieved this character, and then that was just, I guess that was my spiel on the way this film handles grief, and it was emotional. It felt personal, and as someone that I think, what do I know? My guess would be that I've probably gone through all the stages of grief, and I'm probably at the last stage, whatever that is, with the little sprinkles of everything else. It's like, I recognize every one of these stages, and I recognize the forks in the road in all these stages, and okay, it makes sense. It doesn't, and nothing about this is not even, nothing I'm saying here is breaking new ground, but nothing about this is hollow. These guys clearly put in the work, and they clearly knew what they were doing. So just I guess, well done. That's all I can say to them.
On that as well, though, I think you do make a good point across all of it.
That's good, because I said so much. I wasn't even sure if anything there was a good point. I just kept on saying words.
Anytime. But I think the key, one of the things that I wanted to bring out within what you said within the movie in particular is Shuri. You watch Shuri go through all the stages of grief throughout the whole movie. She goes through every single stage. And I'm not going to pretend like I know the full list, but I know she went through every stage during the movie.
Priscilla, that's a professional.
Oh, that's true.
Yo, don't put me on the spot like this, man.
I'm sorry. I realized. I was like, oh wait, I don't want you to revoke a lesson. I'll scrap that out. Continue.
No, it's fine. I think from what I remember, I'm trying to remember. The ones that I remember particularly, off the top of my head, I saw in the film blatantly, anger, denial, obviously acceptance. I'm trying to remember. There's two more.
I mean, there's bargaining.
She bargains in the beginning.
But
there's one more that I'm trying to remember at the top of my head. But she
didn't deny it.
Deny it in the sense she did a little bit in the sense of that her denial in the sense of
she denied her grief. I guess
her grief and then her role in it, because she blamed herself as the reasoning as to why he passed. She couldn't see past the fact that he died because he died. He was ill
of an illness.
Yeah, rather than she was globalizing.
Is there blame? There's blame.
There's blame as well.
Because she blames Killmonger.
She blames Killmonger. She blames herself. She blames religion. She blames science at some points as well. So she does go through. Continue. But she pretty much goes through every stage.
Yeah, no. Thank you for that inspired point of view.
Professional.
I like that. Professional advice. Thank you. And so I completely agree with that. And I think the other thing that you did mention around the music as well is something that I found myself. So I lost my grandma similar to you this year, and I went for her funeral a few weeks ago. And you're fine. You're not fine, but you're trying to be strong throughout. But when the music comes on, that's when everything loses. You lose hold of everything. And I think it's because music is a powerful way in which we recognize different things in our lives, especially sad music, such powerful music. It's difficult to keep your emotions in check whenever you hear music playing, music that has a purpose towards grief, especially, or towards some form of celebration of life. I think it's difficult to actually be okay, I'm going to be strong through this. Because when the music starts playing, as someone who is dedicating their life to studying film, I can tell you that music is probably the biggest emotional manipulator. A scene without music is probably fine, and then you add in some sad emotional music, and everybody in theater is crying. So definitely, I agree with you. Does anyone have anything to say about the film and grief? So before we go into the fun parts,
I think the final thing I would probably say is that I quite liked the fact that every single character was at a different point of grief, because that's very realistic. Because I think sometimes in films, they do the trope of which they make it seem that everyone is in the same frame of mind, or everyone's going to go through, some people will go through the anger stage longer than others. Ramonda seemed to be at a stage where she was still hurting from it, but she's accepted it. She knew that I've got a role to do, so I need to have my time out, like Nakia did at some point as well. And I need to look after my daughter, and I need to rule this nation. So I need to get through it. So she was completely in the acceptance stage. Obviously, grief is a never-ending process. You're going to have highs and lows and peaks and troughs and whatever. Whereas everyone was at a different frame of mind. Even Ross, you could tell that T'Challa's death impacted him as well.
Yeah.
So I quite like that he handled it in that way, because we don't really get to see that often. And I think Coogler wrote it specific to each character. So when I was watching each character's grief, I wasn't thinking, that doesn't sound like them. It matched exactly to their personality types and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a brilliant point. And just when you said it, my brain started computing, and I realized, like, it explains why Okoye reacts the way she does to losing Shuri. Like, normally, like, she'd be like, okay, I lost Shuri, I'm going to go find her. If, let's say, everything was all right, if it was the first Black Panther. But she's like, no, I can't do this again. Like, the king died on my watch. I cannot lose another one. Like, you can see that she's broken, which is obviously, when Ramonda is like, you're done. Just like, please, just give me this one chance. Even when, one of my favorite things is when Nakia comes back and, like, Okoye just like, thank you. Like, you don't actually know what you've just done. Like, you've saved my life. Like, I would have killed myself if anything happened to Shuri. So I guess that's something that it goes to how she's dealing with T'Challa's grief. And she never actually says it. Like even when she, in the end, when she's talking to Nakia, she's like, when Thanos came and you left, like, she doesn't say anything about T'Challa passing away until Nakia brings it up. And something I liked about Ramonda's grieving, and this might just be me pulling at straws, was her hair.
Yeah.
I like, obviously when you first see her, she has like the long locks and everything. And then next time you see her, she's at the UN and she's obviously in those incredible head ornaments. And next time you see her hair is just out. And I'm just like, oh, you're like, everything is prim and proper on the outside, but like when you're home, you're just letting it go. You're just trying to figure shit out for yourself. And it's like, oh, that's ridiculous. That's just an incredible piece of storytelling. It's like, this woman is not the woman that was at the beginning of the movie. She's not the woman that was a year ago. And yeah, she could probably try to, and it was not, obviously it's Ramonda's and the bastard. It's not as if it was like a bird's nest up there, but like it wasn't like, I don't know how to put it, like it wasn't perfect. It wasn't the way it would be if everything was alright. It's like, oh, okay, you're probably going through it as well. Anyway, but yeah. Any final thoughts on grief?
No.
Okay. I apologize to anyone that's listened and got this very terrible opinion. I mean, only one person here is actually sanctioned to give you advice on grief. It's neither of the men, so I apologize.
It's not advice. It's just
I guess
thoughts.
Yeah,
just thoughts.
Personal.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some of the more fun stuff. What's your guys' best scene? Who has something? Who wants to go? What's your best scene in the film?
Oh, it was the scene when Namor took Shuri around Tanaka, and that song playing in the background.
Priscilla, that's my best scene as well.
When he took her around, when he did the whole "Welcome to my crib" and the children were waving at her.
I can't believe that's your best scene, because I thought I was gonna be like the only person in the world. That was So look, Letitia Wright is incredible in this movie, right? And we're going to talk about it in a second. I think she's a lot more convincing as Shuri than as Black Panther, whatever. But the wonderment on her face when she's in the suit and going up and like, she's looking at tennis balls on the blue screen in real life,
yeah.
Right? I'm not trying to deconstruct acting, but like the wonderment on her face when those kids come up to her. Obviously, they've not seen another person that is not Talcolonite, and they come up to her, and it's like kids seeing someone new for the first time, and like the music. We're going to talk about it, but when the music comes in, when I think it was a whale that goes by, and then you hear I think the guitar strings that come on first, and the music in that scene, and then the grandeur, the majesty, like Namor showing her the entire Talconan city. No, I keep saying Talconan. I think it's Talocan, right?
Talocan.
Why do I keep saying Talconan?
I was just correct you from the start, but I was like,
I keep mixing it. Talocan. Sorry,
Talocan.
the Talocan city, and I'm just like, oh, this is just. I don't know. That was just my favorite. That was my, like, the first time I watched this movie, I was like, oh, this is my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, Coogler did a really good job because it felt like you were there. So it was nice having Shuri's first person perspective, because obviously she's meant to be us. So like when the woman was singing in italics, I was there. Like when you're seeing all the children and Namor and everything, I was like, no, this is so sick. I'll live here. Live here. Like, I want to be with the cool cat. I want to be with Mr. Serpent God. Like, yeah, like, I'll jump in. But it was a tie between that and then, what did M'Baku say? There's a scene M'Baku has with her after Ramonda dies.
Oh, yeah.
And I think his best scenes were with Shuri, and is when he says, "You suffered too much for me to consider you a child."
Yeah.
And when he was talking to her, like, that was, I don't know, it was quite nice for someone to actually acknowledge that this guy has been through it.
Yeah. We're going to get to him back in a very quick second. Yeah. What's your favorite scene?
Sorry to burst you guys' bubble. That whole Talokan scene, I was like, please, I'm not watching Little Mermaid.
Hater.
Get this stuff off my screens.
You don't have joy in your heart. That's your problem. You don't have joy in your heart.
Maybe that's just how I am.
Cold heart.
When that child came up and was waving at her face, I was like, bro, like, this stuff is like...
You have no joy in your heart.
I'm like, let's start from somewhere. This guy is about to kill Wakandans. So this whole love for his city thing that we're all doing here, let's all stop. It's not...
Yeah, but not at that point. We don't exactly know what he's doing.
Oh, no, 100%. You know at that point that he's going to kill Wakandans.
No, Robert said he's Dr. Umar era. He's like, he's going to kill the blacks.
Where was your hate for the white man? He's just attacking our brown brothers and sisters just like this.
He's like, he's gonna kill the blacks.
Yeah. Like, I don't care about anything he's doing because he's only coming from the... Oh my God.
I knew he was coming from the black man from the start. Once I saw that, he was like, I'm fighting for my people, and I was like, okay, cool. The black man is going to suffer for you fighting for your people.
Okay. What's your favorite scene?
Honestly, I think my favorite scene is, sounds a bit messed up, but it's actually when he comes as a boy. When he comes to bury his mom.
Jesus, slavery.
That's my favorite scene. It's him fighting against the masters, and I was
the
like,
Spanish Inquisition. Yeah,
you burn everything. You burn every single thing. I was like, cool, yeah. That
was a sick scene.
And when he gets his name,
Namor.
What's the name? It's Serpent God.
His name. Wait, which name?
You mean
his name? What they call him? Akukukan.
But where does he get the name?
From that priest, the priest that's dying.
No, the priest calls him Namor.
Namor
is a child
about love. The way Tenoch says that, the way he says that name, I'm like, wow, you made that sound so. Je ne sais quoi about it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
The way he said it,
like Namor says it in the movie. He's like Akukukan. I just love the way Winston Duke says it. He's like, they call him Akukukan.
Also, sorry, another scene that I loved is Winston Duke. So M'Baku eating the carrots. That's symbolic.
Why is that symbolic?
Because you remember in
the first one, he says he threatened them.
Yeah, he threatens to eat Ross, and he's like, "I'm joking, we're vegetarian."
We're vegetarian.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually remember that. Yeah, you're right. But that's why he calls her a bald-headed demon.
Yeah.
Do you know the way? No, because the way I just barked out in laughter was so embarrassing.
I wasn't sure if that was anti-black or I wasn't sure if that was misogynoir.
No. Misogynoir is allowed sometimes, and with Winston Duke, it's allowed for that one scene because I needed to laugh. I needed to laugh because I was crying, and I
you were going through it. Okay. I mean, I don't know if we should talk about the action scenes now. Then none of us has that as the best. Wait, what's your best scene is?
The
Spanish Inquisition.
I don't have.
I mean, we can talk about the action scenes now, I guess, just very quickly. My favorite action scene is the one on the bridge.
Yeah.
Like, by a mile.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
When both times I watched this movie, when Atuma throws Okoye into despair, my entire audience gasped both times. Everybody goes I was like, Jesus. And
even thinking about it now, I'm gasping in my head because
I love a fight scene without a musical score. I just love it. I love it when there's no music and he fights. I'm just literally hearing and I was like, when he threw her into that.
I said, glory! Wow! I thought she was going to hear welcome from God. I thought she was going to hear welcome from God. I actually thought she was going to die.
I'm like, she stood up. I was like, fair enough.
No, but she broke her, she dislocated her shoulder.
Yeah.
When she went into that spit. Because she had to relocate it. And when, I think in your head, you know how strong that spear is. And
that was his spear, right?
Yeah, but then both their spears were vibranium.
But I think his was stronger.
Yeah, because his was raw vibranium. Like, it wasn't processed, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just see her grow straight into it. And you kind of imagine yourself in that situation, like anytime you've run into a wall, for example, and you know what that pain feels like, and you're like, right.
I don't think I'll ever stop wincing if I watch that.
Yeah.
Like the way my audience gasped twice, I was like, oh my God.
No, the scene with Shuri and Namor's last fight scene. When he stabbed her, the way it went...
Wait, he stabs her and then moves it to the rock?
Yeah.
And moves it to the rock.
I saw it and
I thought that was... I
thought she was gone. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought, this is it.
You know what? I was like, let Kevin Feige just go all the way. He hates things, just kill her as well.
What did he even stab her with? Because she broke it off, didn't she?
It was the spear.
It was a spear.
Was it spear? Because she broke up half.
She broke it half and then...
Yeah, but like, how did she break off half of the spear?
She has a suit now. And she's the Black Panther.
No, but then wasn't spear vibranium?
I don't think it was... I think the tip was vibranium. I don't think
the actual...
That's a waste of vibranium if you make the body vibranium as well.
Okoye's spear, the whole thing is vibranium.
Is it?
Yeah.
Anyway. And we should mention that Letitia Wright obviously got injured filming this movie. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
So like, whether that scene or the bridge scene, like, so I don't know. Letitia Wright, well done. Then my second best, you guys can tell me is actually no. I really like the Shuri and Namor fight on the beach. That might be my second best. I'm not sure. I think that's just. I would have really. I guess we couldn't do it. It got boring. But like, if that was not, because my worst fight is, it's not really a fight, but like the thing on the ship, the battle of like that. I'm like, okay. I could do without, like, whatever.
Yeah, I think that whole fight on the ship, the choreography was a bit off.
I only liked the bit when Shuri was, like, swinging, whatever she was doing there.
Yeah.
That was
that was at the beginning. I was like, okay, you guys on the ship is, like, it's just so to get them busy. The main point is the beach one, so I'm fine. But, like, that one on the ship is the worst.
And I feel like I didn't see, I don't remember her name or the character's name, but the third in command of Namor's army, the lady with the feathers.
No, she was at the bottom. She was that broke the sonic boom.
Yeah, I know.
And then
I mean, like,
Riri.
I didn't see across everything, like across the whole movie. I didn't see her fight enough.
Oh, yeah.
She killed the policeman, sure. But I get what you mean, she killed the policeman.
She killed like one. I think she threw something at him. She didn't really fight.
Yeah, she wasn't getting busy too much. She looked good though.
What was she doing in my, I guess, joint tied for second best action scene in the Drowning of Wakanda?
Was she even there?
She must have been there, but I don't know where
I think she was there, but
I
can't, because Atuma, the second guy, the second in charge, I think the issue was he was so prominent in all the fight scenes.
But that's because he had this thing with Okoye.
Yeah, he had the thing with Okoye. So, yeah, I don't remember seeing
because she was the one that told Namor that, like, the palace is empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The princess is gone.
She's definitely there.
She was definitely there.
But speaking of that Wakanda scene, they put numbers on this Wakandans, man. Like, those guys handled them.
I mean, and you people were celebrating her going to Talokan.
Those guys, Wakandas could not breathe. Quite literally, these guys were just like, they just drowned the entire city. I was like, oh my God.
This was big racism. I'm telling you.
And then he ends with, you are the queen now. I was like, oh my God.
That whole, what was it? Mourn the dead. What was it? Burn the dead. Mourn your losses. You are queen now.
Mourn your losses. Take your time to grieve.
You're queen now.
You are the queen now. I'll be back in a week or something like that. Yeah.
The way my yet could be heard from space, and literally the person is not laughing. This is not a laughing matter. He came in and drowned.
Oh my
and
man was annoyed.
The bars that he was spitting. Yeah, I was like, this is hard because at least with Thanos, I wasn't rooting for I wasn't rooting for Mr. Purple guy. I wasn't rooting for him like that. But I'm like, no, this is a bar. This is a bar. Him and Ebony Moore, I'm like, yeah. Because this one was emotionally impacting me so much. I was thinking, oh no, what he said was tough, but I can't root for this. This is bad, man. You just killed my mother.
What?
You killed my mother. She's on the floor. How can the face be on the floor? And they're now trying to, like, you know, get her to come alive. She ain't even dead yet, and you're telling her to mourn her loss. What? But
it was like, I know she's going to die. Like, it's like, I can see you trying to bring her, but that's not going to happen because I know she's going to die. So let me just tell you now, mourn. Like, it's like, not even, all this you're doing is like, I think it was Matt Murdock and he could, heartbeat. It was like, look, all this thing you're doing is for nothing. She's going to die. So now, mourn your losses and I'll be back in a week. I
ain't seen evil like that in my life.
But I think he was there for a while though. So even before they all got there, so he watched as everything happened.
Oh, he watched her. She would try to bring up Riri, and then she was obviously capsized for so long.
Yeah,
so
he knew she was dead.
But also, Riri was quote unquote dead. They brought her back.
Yeah, with CPR.
But he was like, look, he was like, you're not bringing this.
Actually, no, that's not even the coolest bit he did. Actually, the coolest bit Namor did, I found, was, do you remember when M'Baku came in from behind and he snapped the thing and he punched him? I thought, what?
I mean, let's say when we talk about Namor, but when M'Baku's thing breaks on Namor's hand, my entire audience loses their shit. They're like, oh my god, this guy is
strong.
And then I see, so when he punches M'Baku, my brain has a 5-second delay where I'm like, okay, these niggas have killed Ramonda. Are they going to kill M'Baku as well? Like, are they just going full clip on anybody in this movie? Because I was like,
I'll be very honest, with the way my day was going, I'd have walked out. I'd have actually walked out.
If they killed M'Baku,
I'd have walked out.
I was like, this punch is a severe punch, and they just said this man is as strong as the Hulk. Could they kill M'Baku in this movie? Okay, let's.
But I think one thing though, that just going back to something you said, Priscilla, I can't lie. His bars weren't as nice as Thanos's though.
No, they were not.
No, they weren't as nice. With Thanos, I could slyly, like him and Ebony Moore, there was a small part of me. I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to see what you're doing. I can't. This is tough.
Oh
yeah. It's like, you know, when a heel turn in WWE, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm rocking with this. Yeah. With
Thanos had like an army of writers in the back of his shit, just feeding him lines.
I was like, this shit is hitting. Yeah. With Namor, yeah, he will spit out a bar, and I'm like, I can't root even the evil in me. I can't root it. What you said was so tough. Like, you know, when he comes out of nowhere, when Ramonda and Shuri are like trying to do the whole ritual thing, and Shuri's not paying attention to it, and he goes, "This place is so beautiful," and he tells her, "So why did you show it to the world?" I thought, yay! Wow! You're not gonna say hi, hello, how are you, how was your day? You know, he went straight into...
But I think that's the point, though. I think that's why you don't like him. It's because he's disrespectful.
He's a dickhead. He's an actual dickhead.
Yeah, he actually started from being a dickhead. But, like, with Thanos, I think the first few times, like, you hear Thanos actually speak and, like, have a long speech, it's kind of in a respectful way.
What are we doing now? Are we trying to say we sympathize more with Thanos than with Namor? What are we doing now?
No.
No, what are we doing?
Priscilla did not say that.
Priscilla's trying to save her right here. What are we doing here? Thanos wanted to destroy half of the world. Namor just wants to protect his people.
Thanos wants to destroy half of the world with a goal of protecting
I'm not doing this.
world.
I'm not doing Thanos was right. I'm not doing this on this podcast.
Namor only cared about his people and was like, burn the whole world. At least Thanos was even. Like, there wasn't any nepotism, there wasn't any racism attached to it.
I'm not doing any of
Thanos
this.
Thanos was like, whether you're purple like me, whether you're black, whether you're white, I'm killing half. Namor was like, nah, man.
Let's talk about
let me protect my Talokans.
I'm not doing this.
And then kill the rest of kill the rest of the world. Like, I'll burn the world.
Can we stop? I'm not doing this with you. What are we doing right now? We cannot be comparing Thanos with Namor. Like, please. Oh my god, we'll talk about Namor in a bit more though. Let's talk about performances. Let's quickly shout out, I think, Winston Duke as M'Baku, and let's start with him, because for a while I was like, is Winston Duke stroke M'Baku going to be like the casualty of this movie? Like, there's so much going on, like we're not going to have time for him, right? And then because for like an hour 30, you don't really see any much of him. Like, he throws in a few jokes. And I mean, one of the jokes I really love is when he's like, maybe the queen will reward Nakia with a permanent exile or something along those lines. But then he gets that scene. You said, Priscilla, the scene by Ramonda's, after Ramonda's funeral, where you can see him being like, I was like, oh, M'Baku is like a diplomat. Like, I was like, M'Baku is actually being serious here. Like, it's like, what do you want me to do? And all that. And obviously when he says, the world has taken too much from you for you to still be a child, I was like, oh, yeah, I feel that. Because when she's like, you want advice from a child, in my head, I'm like, you're not a child anymore, man. And then he says it, I was like, oh, yeah, Coogler, I see you. But yeah, I mean, like, Love M'Baku was great. It was funny. Like, him and Riri really gave us jokes. Obviously, Okoye gets a couple of lines, but like, I was like, oh, okay, these are the places that we can laugh. So, loved him in this movie. Love that the way they test if Black Panther is real is an arm wrestle, and he didn't allow her finish. He was like, yeah, it's fine. Don't embarrass me with all my people. It's fine. You've won. You're the Black Panther. And obviously the fact he goes on an arc in this movie. He starts the movie saying, let's kill the fishman.
Yeah.
And then he's like, wait, this fishman is not a fishman, he's a fish god. If we kill this man, like, all his people are gonna be angry, and like, is that like he's wanted to kill a king?
Is that the right way?
He's wanted to kill a general, but to kill a god, you're inciting a holy war. And so I like that he obviously has that arc, and he remained funny and all that. So that was nice. I liked him back. I mean, Danai Gurira maybe gets 2 scenes of acting, the scene with Angela Bassett and the scene with Nakia, but like, she's good, she's funny. Like, she's never funny, they're not trying to be funny. Like, obviously Mbaku is trying to be funny, not in a disrespectful way, but like, she's written to be comedic. But like, that Colonizer in Chains line, everyone laughs. It's one of the things that everybody in my cinema just laughs every time. I was like, I looked around, I was like, you guys are quite white. She wants to laugh. Everybody laughed. I was like, okay, fair enough.
What an actual bar. I think top,
Do you know,
top
when
10
she said
lines
that,
from the movie.
I was like this.
He's like,
I was like, fair enough.
I was like, yes, please. So yeah, and then look, she was Michonne for like 10 years on Walking Dead. Like, we know she can do the action, and so like that fight scene on the bridge again. I just like, give Denai more of this. Let her do more of this in future movies. Let her just do her action, because she can clearly do it. So yeah, I'm going to shout out this together. I think this were good. Any thoughts on the 2 of them? Oh, and Mbaku might. I mean, I don't know. Is Mbaku going to be king? Is that what the plan was?
I think that's what they were hinting. Because I kept thinking when I was, before I go into Mbaku, when I was going into the film, I thought a smart way of handling this would be, because I didn't think Ramonda was, I didn't, until we saw the trailer, I didn't know Ramonda was going to be queen. I thought it was going to be Mbaku being king, and then Shuri being the Black Panther, similar to T'Challa being the Black Panther, and his dad being king.
Strucker, yeah.
So it looked like they hinted at that, but he was brilliant.
Yeah.
I want Taika Waititi to look at this. This is how you can do humor well and balance with drama, right?
Completely agree.
Because Mbaku, like, the funniest lines were coming from him. I'm not gonna lie. The way he had me laughing, and it wasn't like random comments. Like he released, like, I think he said it himself that the film's a bit of a pressure cooker, and his intention in the role was to let the air out, and you could feel that in each scene he was in. But he really shone when the 2 scenes he had with Shuri, or the 3. He had with Shuri, particularly I think there's 2. The one where he talked.
What's the third one?
I thought it was 3, but it's 2. The one where he told her about not having war and actually focusing on having maybe a peace argument. Like, you're not this. You think you're this, but you're not this. And obviously that's when she tells him, like, nah, like, you get busy getting people together.
Like, who are you talking to right now?
Who are you talking to right now? I'm the Panther now. Like, the strength of the Black Panther is in me now. But and I also think the conversation I had with her at the funeral, and that the way he was her guide, and he actually was the true person she was actually listening to. Like, at the end, you can tell she was actually taking in somewhat. It wasn't fully realized yet, but it left a nugget in her head. Then obviously her mum was the one that fully pulled her out of it.
Yeah.
But I think he did such a good job of being what he said he promised her brother to me, was to guide her and to continue on a big brother role, not necessarily the same as T'Challa, because T'Challa was her moon and star, that she idolized him. But in a way that, no, like, you've got people, you may feel like you've not got people here, but you've got me here. Like, I know you, and obviously I think it helped her having someone who knew who she was prior to all the loss she had. She's got someone to touch base with and be like, no, like, you're not this. You think you're this because everything that's happened to you has made you think you are this, but I know you truly at your core. So now I think he did a really good job. And Denai, there's nothing left to say. The one scene with her and Angela Bassett was insane. I've never pitied 2 people like that in my life. I didn't know whose side I was on. Yeah. Because Denai did such a good job that I'm like, no, but she did her duty. But then Angela Bassett would be like, no, like, you know that it was wrong, whatever. And I think her action scenes were perfect. Her comedic timing was perfect. Her and Riri were hilarious. For that whole scene before they escaped to Wakanda and before they got taken. But yeah.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say on that scene between Denai and Angela Bassett, that conversation, and I think you're completely right. I think that back and forth, you kind of jump to both sides at different points, and where Denai is like, I've given everything, I've done everything for this country, and I've betrayed my own. I know. Where M'Baku was like, no, she betrayed.
No, it wasn't M'Baku. It was the other guy. It was like,
oh yeah, she betrayed
her to her husband.
Yeah, for this country.
But where is her husband now?
I know.
If not in the place she can see him. Mine is dead.
And then like that, I think is that scene from the trailer.
From the trailer, yeah.
When she was like, I've given everything. I've lost my whole family. Everyone I love is in the ground, and I have given everything. I thought she was going to say that to the UN.
That's what I thought.
I didn't think she was
going to say it to Okoye.
Oh, you
really?
did? Why did you think that?
No. I didn't think. I was the same. I didn't think she was going to say it to Okoye.
Oh, yeah. I was surprised. That hit me. I was like, because I was looking for that scene throughout the movie. I was like, oh man, like that's a very powerful speech. Who did she give it to? And I was like, right, is that how you guys are going to play this out?
I was saying it to her. As she was saying to me, I was saying it to her. I was like, and the most powerful woman, yeah. Next line is of the world, yeah. Have I not given? I was just saying to her, I was like, because that's what I was playing in my head since the first trailer. Yeah. I was just reciting along with her. Okay, that's a good segue. That's as good a segue as any. But before we go to Angela, I'm just quickly, Angela, who am I? Before we go to Mrs. Angela Bassett, Jesus, that was very, very presumptuous. If any of my friends are listening, I want us to just be in a group where we can just go ooh, and everybody just knows it's time. Like the way M'Baku just starts going, the Jabari just starts going, ooh. I was like, what is going on?
I can't lie, we can't do that in these white streets.
No.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
No.
That's why we need to go back to Africa, go back to Wakanda, go back to where we came from. Okay, let's talk about Angela Bassett, who delivers a performance. I mean, if it's from the UN, like, she's just looking at these white people and like, you white people are mad. You're speaking French. I know French. Like, what's going on here? Like, it's like, and then the UN thing, obviously, she has her big scene, which is the scene against the Okoye. But like the little scenes like the UN scene, a little scene with Shuri. Even when she just wants Shuri to go to America, she's just like, what are you talking about? I need my daughter here. I don't know. Yeah. I just thought it was an incredible performance. I don't think I'm alone in thinking this, but I just thought she was very, very good in this movie.
Sorry, her costume design?
We'll get to costume. We'll get to costume.
No. Because we're talking about her now, I think it's just good to just mention her costume design. Because at different points, I felt like her dresses were kind of changing color. Because during the scene. There was a scene where she was wearing a white dress. And then it changed to black at some point in time during the scene. I think something happened and I think it became like an action sequence or something and it changed to black. And I was like, wow, I didn't expect that coming. But I think going back to you mentioning her and like her performance at the UN, I think that UN scene was very big for me because it just looked hard. Like when they all just walked in and you just see them put down their mics.
That was in the trailer and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
It is a great scene. And just the walk off, how she dealt with all of them, just like the power, the poise, like the finesse. Wow. Yeah, no, I'm obviously clearly a big fan.
I don't say this lightly. She's one of two I'm going to say this about. I don't say this for MCU films, period. That they should campaign for her for awards season. And I'm being dead for support. I'm being deadly serious. Like I've never, because when you watch MCU films, you see some people produce very, very, very good performances. Mm-hmm. So obviously, as recent was Willem Dafoe. Oscar Isaac did a decent job in Moon Knight.
Oh, I forgot what a Dafoe performance. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, then you've got Josh Brolin as Thanos. Like Zima. You had decent performances.
I go. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what she and the other person I mentioned down the line did in this film, and considering how much screen time, because she weren't in it loads like that. If we actually deep it, she was in the first half of the film. She made do with every minute of screen time she had, whether it was small scenes, big scenes. You felt like her presence. You felt her anger, her pain, her happiness at points. Like she tapped into every single thing she could use to produce a performance. She used, and I was completely gobsmacked. I'm not gonna lie, my mouth was hanging wide open.
Yeah, I was just like, look, it's one thing to shout and be a shouty scene, but also the little moments when she's trying to just connect with Shuri and like, we need to mourn. I need you to get to at least let's meet in the middle or whatever. And anyway, I just liked all of that.
And I think on that as well, just in terms of like her range, like you see her across the movie go from a queen to a mother to a warrior and everything else in between, like across all of that. She just does everything, and it's like, wow, fair enough, Angie. Well done.
Fair enough. Who?
Angie.
Who are you?
Auntie.
Okay, so let's go into the big guns now. Tenoch Huerta makes his debut as Namor in this film. Akukukan, the feathered serpent god. Priscilla, I'm going to let you cook. Actually, before you cook, do you want to let our 5 audience members know what your Twitter name is right now?
No. So.
But it's public knowledge. I don't know.
I'm gonna explain.
Okay, you explain and then you can say what it is.
There was a joke between me and a few squirrel friends.
Okay.
About Tenoch is a very good looking man. I watched Narcos Mexico and I thought he was good looking there. So I was there in the trenches before everyone started jumping.
I didn't know that was him, I had to go back and like, who did he play in Narcos? I was like, oh, you played Rafa Quintero.
Yeah, wow, okay. I was there. Yeah, I was in the trenches.
Before he was cool.
Before he was cool. So I was like, I need a funny name for this situation because I was...
Funny.
And then I thought, what, name was Whore sounds like a,
Name was what?
Oh my God.
God.
No, because I'm like, Namor's Jezebel doesn't hit. Namor's wife doesn't hit. I was like, we need to shock.
Namor's whore. Yeah,
Namor's whore. It makes sense. Do you know what I mean? I'm available.
I have a very weird feeling that I follow you on Twitter, and there's a reason why I'm saying this.
No, it's not her. It's someone else. That's someone else. I don't want to blow up her spot, but that's someone else that his name was whore. It's not Priscilla. I know who it is. Priscilla knows who the other person is.
Yeah, that's the person I came the name with.
Yeah, I don't want to blow up her spot on the podcast, but it's someone else. There are 2 Namor's whores. Namor has 2 whores.
Wow.
Anyway, Priscilla.
Actually, no. Found out yesterday we're a community. But
is that right? Okay. I'm happy that it's coming. I hope you guys can support each other.
Oh my God. Honestly. First, I want to preface, if Tenoch is ever listening to this...
God, I hope not.
We're going to pretend my boyfriend's not listening to this. I'm available anytime, any place, anywhere. Mexico, London, United States. I've said that now, so I'll be serious, yeah?
Okay.
First.
His villain arc, anti-hero arc, anti-villain arc, whatever you want to call it, he's judging whatever he was doing, yeah? I was with him for a little bit, I'm not going to lie. The first part of it, he was telling the Wakandans like, no, we let the brown and blacks work together. Mm-hmm, Let's kill the white man. I was like, yes! Yes!
Genocide?
I was like, okay. Yeah, come on. You know what I mean? They're going to kill us. Let's kill them.
Payback time, slave trade.
Payback time, slave trade, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's like nines.
We do not endorse genocide on this podcast.
I mean,
yeah, we don't.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, we don't endorse it. So, I was with him and stuff, and I think his motivations were very understandable in the sense I understood the reasoning behind it. It always made sense. And I wasn't fully agreeing with him. I didn't take it there. I was like, you're not, I'm not there with you because you're killing the blacks and I can't, you know what I mean? I can't be doing that now. But I got it. Like, I'm like, no, these people they're going to come for you. And you're stupid if you think they're not going to come for you. Now you've exposed the fact that what you have. So I completely got it. I think Tenoch did a brilliant job. Because I'm going to say something controversial. I don't want people to start shooting me. Because I love the man I'm talking about. I love with my whole heart.
I know what you want to say. Oh my God. Yeah. I disagree though, but continue. Say what you want to say.
I think with Killmonger, yeah.
I knew it.
Where Michael B. Jordan lost me was that I think he overacted. There was no light and shades to what he was doing, if that makes any sense. I think he handled it better in his cameo in this scene than he did because in the film, I remember watching Black Panther, very controversial. I know people are gonna start shooting me, and Dr. Umar Katsu are gonna start going, woo, but I don't care. He was the worst part of the film for me. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I did not enjoy. I got why he existed. I liked his motivations. I understood his reasoning behind it. I understood why he was the way he was and stuff. That's not what I had a problem with. I just felt like Michael B. Jordan overacted so much in some bits. Then other bits he'll be really good.
I'm actually, like, personally, I'm a defender of the Michael B. Jordan performance. I think I actually like his performance in Black Panther. But as in, I'm not denying that there is some overacting, but I kind of feel like that's the point. Like, he's meant to be this kind of very over-the-top aggressive kind of we was kings kind of guy.
I kind of get that he was meant to be like a hothead we was kings sort of guy, but I feel like what Tenoch did with Namor was the same level of aggressiveness. He was on smoke.
I think they're two different characters, though.
They're two completely different. They're not the same. Yeah,
I think Namor needs to be shaded because he needs to be shaded. Anti-hero.
Exactly.
Yeah, Killmonger was a pure villain, just meant to be pure villain.
Yeah, pure villain. But I think
what are you about to say now?
No, because I think
Killmonger is a pure villain. Let's not do this. Please, let's not do this. Don't tell me Killmonger was right as well. No, Killmonger was a pure villain.
I'm not saying.
No, he wasn't like.
If Namor is an anti-villain, then surely Killmonger is, because they have the same motives.
Killmonger killed his girlfriend.
She wasn't really his girlfriend.
I'm sorry. So you surely respect women that. I'm sorry.
No,
me? No, I just no. I don't. Let's not reassess Killmonger's character.
Yeah, because I think
it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing, but I think with Namor, I loved his role. Like, I think with the MCU way it went wrong in Phase 4 in many points was that they didn't give the same credence of attention and time to the hero and the villain. They will spend so much time on the hero. I'm like, I don't even know the guy you're fighting. Like, I know why you're fighting him.
What do you think of?
I don't know why you're...
What do you think of Shang-Chi's dad? I can't remember his name.
No, that was literally one of the only, like, No Way Home, Shang-Chi, and there's one more missing on the top of my head, and Doctor Strange. The three films where I'm like, equal time. Obviously, Doctor Strange is its own thing because Wanda's existed in the universe for ages. But Shang-Chi and No Way Home had people who were existed before but weren't in the MCU as we know it. And they were all given, you knew exactly their motivation as to why they wanted to kill the guy in it. But with Namor, like, I fully got, like, I understood his point of view. And I love the fact Ryan Coogler said, no, like, we're going to spend equal time in Wakanda as we're going to do in Talokan. And I don't agree with Namor. I don't think I ever will. But I liked what he brought to the table. And I also like the fact Ryan Coogler left it very open-ended because he's actually got the Wakandans exactly where he wants them.
You don't think you ever agree with Namor?
In sense of, in this situation, not ever.
Oh, okay.
In this film, I agree. No, in the sense of...
what is going on? Why do you want us to agree with Namor?
Because I feel like you're very anti-Namor, and doesn't make, like, in this movie I can understand, but like, if this movie, let's do a thought experiment. If this movie was told from Namor, like, so it wasn't like Wakanda that we already know. Let's say it was, I don't know, let's say it's a futuristic white society. So let's remove the black from it. Let's just remove the black from it and say this is the same story, but it's told from like the Talokan's point of view, Namor's point of view. Like, these people have been hiding, and now the white people are coming to infiltrate. Like, and now he wants to go on the offensive. It's not that far fetched. I understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, but like, they haven't done anything to him.
The white people?
Yeah, as in, they obviously...
There's history.
The white people haven't done anything to Namor and his people.
He's using history. He's using the fact that once they come and looking for materials and raw materials, what they do. And he's trying to avoid that. He's trying to avoid another colonization. I wasn't talking about...
But you're saying that to avoid another colonization, he should go and just kill them.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying... I don't say I agree with him, but I fully understand his point of view.
No, I actually know. I'm sort with you in the sense of that. I think that, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. In the first Black Panther, Nakia had the same grievances, the exact same grievances as Killmonger. It was the way she went about it that was in the correct way. I think with Namor, his reasoning I will always understand. The reasoning that will be the one thing I will always understand, his reasoning behind his motives. That will never go for me. I will completely always understand it. I know why he is the way he is. But the thing where he lost me personally was his actions towards the end, because you can't then act on the Wakandans and then expect them to ally with you. So, do you know what I mean? That's where he sort of lost me.
Even Namor was like, okay, take the scientist, keep her, and I'm gonna go kill, not kill all the white people, but I'm gonna attack, let's say, America or the CIA or whatever. I'm not gonna touch Wakanda as long as Wakanda doesn't come and touch me. What would be your reaction to that?
It's still the same. I think maybe it's because I'm a bit of a pacifist myself.
What are we talking about? This is a man who has his entire generation or race has been underwater, because when they came up, they saw slavery and they were like, this is terrible. We have to go back.
They went down because they couldn't.
Yeah, but like
they've been hiding because they couldn't really do anything else. How did that happen? How did smallpox happen? Spanish people came to colonize and they brought smallpox along. He went to bury his mom and he sees slavery. Like, this man only has bad history with white people. Yes, and again, I think that is fine, but I think Killmonger has more of a reason to do what he did than Namor does.
Which is what?
Killmonger he's lived through a racist America. He's been through everything that comes along with that. Namor has been underground.
But he's not as if he knows what's going on up there. He's known what's going on for 500 years.
He's been underground. Like, it's okay. He's known what's gone on for 500 years. Where's he been?
No, but
he's still underground.
He's not as if he just woke up and was like, okay, it's time to attack the white people. He's like, I know what happens when these guys get there. Like, they're like a dog with a bone. They found this material, and what are they going to do when they find out vibranium is in Talocan City? They're going to try and come and pillage us. So I need to stop that.
Again, you have your people. Like, it's the same way. It's like Wakanda being like, oh my days, what's his name? Andrew Serkis's character has Claw has come and he's found this thing, vibranium. So nah, man, like we're going to kill all of America.
I'm not gonna lie, that's where the Wakandans. This is why I wish if it me there, I would have been more violent. I would have locked off the CIA. I'm like, nah, you man are bad man. I'm not gonna burn the whole world. But you, man, who are trying to get my material, you're God. Like, I'm exterminating you.
Namor is not a hero in this movie.
But then my point is Namor is looking to kill everyone just because they've discovered.
But what do you think everyone? Like, do you actually think everyone is like every single person?
This guy said, I'm going to burn the world.
Yeah, but I think he was being hyper. But I think he meant like, I'm going to kill
sorry.
Like, I don't think he meant that every single person in the world is going to die. I think he just meant like, I'm going to like attack the White House.
The surface world, yeah.
Downing streets and be like, okay, look, you have to be able to say, I'm in control. And I don't think he's actually going to just kill every single person.
But then that...
I'm sorry. This is the same thing that doing in you.
No.
By the way.
What?
It is Pete... Just saying.
That's how you know Tanok did a good job. Because you know when a villain pulls such reactions from people, that's how. Because whenever with a villain or an anti-villain or an anti-hero, it's especially one like more. You want people to sort of be in that weird headspace where like you don't agree with what you're doing, but then in the weird part at the back of your head, you're like, you know what, like he ain't complete. He's like maybe 89% wrong, but there's an 11% of it that's right. Because if he's pulling such reactions, it's either people really, really love him on one side, and people really hate him, and people like me and you are probably in the middle where you don't necessarily agree with his actions, but you can sort of understand.
Yeah, understand it.
How he got to where he got to. Then I think he did a brilliant job.
If I was him, I don't know if I would do the same thing. That's what I'm saying. My main problem with him is that he says Wakanda has to be for us or against us, which I think that's a bit too binary for my liking. Like they can let them go by their peace.
He got what he wanted at the end.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, you're right. He actually won the movie.
He won the movie. I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait, this guy won. Because he knows. We all know That blue-haired woman is not gonna let this shit go.
She's not. She literally said, "I've been dreaming about if US had vibranium."
Having
This is
vibranium.
America we're thinking
Oh,
about.
yeah, no, 100%. Like,
He's got them in the palm of his hands because he knows these people. Shuri's gonna suffer again. These white people are gonna pillage Wakanda. They're gonna pillage it, pillar to post, and he now knows they're gonna have to turn to me because they've got no one else.
They've got
absolutely no one else.
Who? New Asgard and Valkyrie, that's all. Like,
that's it. They've got no one else.
Anyway, even if you don't like Namor's actions or whatever, can you at least agree that Tenoch Huerta did an incredible job?
Oh no! Okay. Incredible. And I was going to go to him because I haven't really actually given my opinion.
Yeah, talk about him.
I think one, he's a fine boy, man. Like, fair enough. Like, fair enough. I understand your Twitter handle.
Oh my God.
Fair enough.
I guess your community is growing more now. I don't know what to say.
Look at the testimonies we're bringing in.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of pissed off because I was speaking about this the other day because there was someone who was reviewing who saw the trailer. I think he's PT, and he was saying about how that I don't know why his body's not more shaped and he's not more in shape, that he looks fat. And I was watching this movie and I saw this guy with a six-pack. I'm like, bro, are you mad? Like, the rest of us don't be looking like this. Yeah. Like, he's in proper shape. This guy has wings on his leg. Also, the physics of that doesn't make sense.
She's about the winged feet.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a Namor person. Like, I know of Namor. I know, like, he's a bit of an anti-hero. I know he's like, I only care about, I guess back then it was Atlantis and I focus on Atlantis. But I know people were worried that, like, the winged feet will not be there. Which, I mean, look, I think we forget, because obviously it's Coogler. Ryan Coogler is, like I said, he brought up Fruitvale Station. Like, he's one of the greatest actors of our time. But we forget that, like, Coogler has said that he was...
He's a big nerd.
Yeah, like, he's
a big nerd.
Opening day Iron Man 2008, he was there. Yeah. And, like, do you know what it means to be there opening day of Iron Man? Nobody gave a shit what Iron Man was in 2008. Like, but it's like, he knows. So he was like, he told, apparently, Tenoch was like, can't you just give me a suit that has, like, muscles, like, covers my body? I was like, no, let's keep it like the comics. So, like, he's obviously, like you said, a nerd. So, I like how that they went out there, they gave, because, like, they did the winged feet, which is just incredible. I can't really do that. But I was thinking about this. Wait, actually, finish what you're saying, then I'll say what I was saying.
No, I was just going to end with the fact that the winged feet's physics wasn't making sense to me, but fair enough. Like,
I mean, I was thinking about how that, like, you know how there's the whole DC Marvel divide, the binary of, like, Marvel is funny and light and DC is dark and whatever. And I was like, how is it that we've got to a point where Marvel's Aquaman is, like, the angry and brooding one?
Oh, yeah.
And DC's Aquaman is the foolish and fun one. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous.
It's a waste of Jason Momoa, I'm telling you. It's a waste.
Well, you want him to be brooding?
If I go into Aquaman, we're going to be here for 5 hours because the way... Oh, they've ruined him.
But yeah, no, Tenoch, I thought it was incredible. I like the fact that, like you said, he comes out as he's a dick from the beginning, and even though like he's just I guess he's like what you expect more to be. Like, he's like Mr. Fantastic in terms of the pride and ego, but also T'Challa because he's kingly and regal. Was also a warrior. So he's like all these things. Like, he's never been a nice person, and he's never been a terrible person. He's a dick. Like,
it's weird that you just described him with nice people though.
Mr. Fantastic is not nice.
No, he's a nice guy now.
He can be a dick when he wants to be, like, when he has his intelligence by his side.
Yeah, but, like, that's different. That's like...
No, it's like saying Tony Stark is a nice person.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Like, he's a nice guy.
Is he a nice... Like, but, like, he's a good person. Doesn't mean he's a nice person.
I don't think the people he killed with Ultron will think that.
I don't know. She rests her case.
I mean, that was just the result of bad engineering. To be fair,
okay.
It's just like
but I don't think Namor is not. He's like,
he's grey. He's morally grey.
Yeah, he's morally grey, but he's also like, he's like the type of person that is cool and a dick if he wants to be a dick, but like also like
he's morally dark grey.
If you don't disturb him, he won't disturb you.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one disturbed this guy.
What do you mean? They came to look for vibranium in his place.
All they did was just found vibranium underwater.
And then what happens? When that's how they found spice in India.
And the English don't even use
Or
it.
they found whatever in Africa.
But that's different. No, that's different.
Why is it different?
They knew there were people there. They didn't know this guy, his people existed.
But like, okay, let's say Namor goes to sleep. Let's say he doesn't do anything. If the CIA finds out that first of all, let's be honest, that they've already tried. They want to attack Wakanda. In the same movie, they said they want to destabilize Wakanda. In the same movie, why won't they do it to Talokan?
That's one person. Like she was.
No, he was speaking for the president. Said the president wants to do interventional policy as if it's like.
I remember that. No, sorry, I take that. I remember that part. And in my head, I was like, bro, what?
Like when America shows you who they are, just go. Anyways, let's move on because time is running out. Let's talk about Shuri and Letitia Wright. So I was seeing some clips from the first Black Panther, and I'd completely forgotten the kind of character that Shuri was in the first Black Panther. Like she's a comic sidekick who obviously she's very intelligent, but like her job is mostly for levity. And I was like, oh my God, this is what you know how to do. Like imagine if Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 happened and then Volume 2, Drax was the main guy and he had to have like all the emotional and like thematic weight of everything. I'm like, this is a lot that you've put on this, both on the character Shuri and on Letitia Wright. And I just thought like, I thought Letitia Wright was incredible. Yeah. I could not believe, like I said, I buy more of Shuri than Black Panther, but I think that's just like a thing that comes over time. Like Chadwick was regal in his normal life. He moved like a king, right? So it makes sense that he does T'Challa well. I'm nothing on Letitia Wright's acting, whatever. I think as we go on, she'll imbibe the Black Panther more, but I just couldn't believe what I was watching as a performance. I just thought she was incredible. Like we said, all the stages of grief, the anger that we would get to, and everything. It was just like, I just thought both Shuri and Letitia Wright were just incredible in this movie. I was gobsmacked.
Yeah, I think there was a sense of, you could tell that she wasn't this is going to come out very wrong, and please forgive me. But you could tell that she's not a leader. And she recognized that.
Shuri or Letitia Wright?
Shuri.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not wrong. That's perfect. Yeah, she's not. She's the scientist.
Yes, and she recognized that. And you can see her being... T'Challa wouldn't have taken that boat out to go and attack. He would have done it in such a way that they would have done a sneak attack, for example. He wouldn't have done something so blown out that if it fell back on them, they would have lost as many people as they lost. I think he would have been more calculated about caring about his people. But I think that's a Killmonger within her. That's her. I'm going to make sure I get revenge. Yeah, and her being emotional and her being emotionally charged. And that, I was saying this before. I think that not over the podcast, but I think that annoyed me. But it was right in annoying me because obviously I was looking for nobility. When she doesn't have to be noble.
She's not the king. She's
not the queen. She doesn't want to be the queen. She wants to leave that to someone else. She wants to be the Black Panther. And I think that's what the Black Panther is meant to, obviously not to be emotional, but to protect and to be the fighter and to be the person that does the fighting. And then anyone else that cares about the people, as in does the calculations on what the emotional damage is, what the people damage is someone else. And I think beautiful performance from Letitia Wright. I think she embodied everything that Shuri was going through. I think she did that role incredibly, and to do that role with an injury as well. Mm-hmm. Apparently, that injury was terrible, and fair play to her.
The movie was on hold for a few months. I remember
it was for a while, for longer than I expected it to be.
Yeah, because I think I've always known Letitia Wright, because obviously she was in Top Boy, and obviously she did Mangrove, the Steve McQueen's little films he did for BBC. So I've always known that she, give her material, she'll perform. But the amount of pressure she had on her was ridiculous. And to produce that, and she's the second person who I'd say, if obviously Marvel should push it for supporting, don't put her for best because she's black. And they're not going to nominate her for that.
Yeah, I think Viola's already going for, we can't have more than one going at a time.
One going at a time. But if they will have a hard time picking between the two of them, because she genuinely, like, hand on my heart, I was not expecting her to drop. Like, I've always known that she's got it, But in the circumstances that she was in, particularly how close she was to Chadwick as well, knowing that as well, and how that would probably impact, and obviously the headlines that she had as well, I didn't think that she would produce such an emotional arc in the way that she did, because it's really easy with her scenes to overact. It'd be very easy to go completely over the edge, but she always kept it really tight. And I always felt like, because she wasn't even the lead the entire film, she was pretty much a side character for the first half of the film until Ramonda dies, and then she completely takes over the second half if she's the lead. And I thought she handled everything perfectly. Her chemistry with every single member of the cast she was working with was perfect. Yeah. There is not one thing I would change about that performance. I think she handled a smart, intelligent girl who's lost everything now trying to become somewhat of a leader very well. That felt very realistic. You're asking someone who was blipped for 5 years, before that lost her dad, her brother died and came back to life. She has a cousin who tried to kill her. And then she comes back, her brother dies and she was meant to try to save, and then your mum dies, your country's completely underwater, you've been trying to create a herb, now you magically create the herb after how many times of trying, and now you're asking this very person to now lead the country, and knowing that knowing that obviously when she went to the ancestral plane, she really wanted to see her brother. She didn't. She saw her cousin, making her second guess everything that she truly believed in. I think her emotional turmoil throughout the entire film was the most interesting part of the film. Is what I was engaged in the most. She wanted to be noble like her brother, and be regal and be morally upright. But at the same time, she was incredibly highly, like, she had to, I'm not my brother, but then I'm not Killmonger either. I can combine the two things together and then make that of myself. So I think she handled everything, especially someone who doesn't do stunts like that. I was quite pleasantly surprised of how she handled even the bike one, especially the bike one. I thought that was really, really cool.
We're gonna try and run through the rest because we're running long. But with something that I mentioned earlier, on that theme that the movie kind of goes on is the theme of vengeance and justice and all that. And Shuri really conveys that. I'm going to read you guys 2 quotes and see if you can. I feel like you should, but see if you can tell me who said what. So, vengeance has consumed us. We can't let it consume our people. Do you know what movie that was from? Or who said that?
Was that Shuri in this one?
Yeah, that's Shuri in this one. Okay, the second one is, vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me.
That was T'Challa in Civil War.
In Civil War, which is basically the same line, bar for bar. Like, when she said that, I was like, oh my God. Like, she has literally just had T'Challa's arc in Civil War.
Yeah, literally, in this film.
Like, when she said it, I was like, I have heard these, and obviously that's not a mistake. They know what they're doing. But like, I was like, she said vengeance has consumed us, we can't let it consume our people. To, obviously, Namor. And then T'Challa says it to Zemo, vengeance has consumed you, it's consuming them. Speaking of Tony and Steve, I'm done letting it consume me. And it's like, oh, this is T'Challa's arc. This is like angry that your parent is dead and you're going for vengeance, and then you realize that that's just not
it's not worth it.
Not the way, it's not worth it. I was just like, oh, this is just incredible. And she needs to do that to become the Black Panther, to become an actual hero. She needs to get through that. And it's just...
Yeah, riffing off that, I think when Ramonda told Shuri, show them who you are, that's the exact same thing she told T'Challa when in the sequence when he's fighting. Is it in Baku? He's fighting in Baku. She says that to him as well. So I'm like, because I was noticing the way like the little ties in between her and T'Challa, because I think despite what she thinks, they're a lot more similar than she truly thinks that they are.
I mean, there's that scene, that Shuri scene just before that, they're doing the flashbacks where you can see Namor and Shuri are kind of like remembering their own mothers, and like they're kind of at the end of their grieving processes. Like Namor is remembering his mom, how her mom died, and burying his mom, and Shuri's in for Ramonda. I was like, okay, there's a lot. But yeah, I just really liked the way they kind of mirrored her journey with T'Challa's journey in Civil War and the thing of vengeance and all that. Mid-credit scene, Priscilla, did you cry?
I'm telling you, I was like, Rihanna was doing live me. I was like, okay, Rihanna's making me cry. all right, I'm cool, because I didn't realize the mid-credit scene was good. No one, I'd gone in blind. And then
Same.
I was watching her like reminisce over everything, and she was burning the funeral clothes, and I thought, wow, okay, I'm crying. When I saw T'Challa, yeah, I just started, but I knew automatically who it was, so I just started crying. I've never cried out in my life because it was just seeing her sort of like Letitia Wright did it so right. Her facial expression was so spot on because you can
Like
tell the
when he
shock of
says,
it,
"My
like.
name is T'Challa, Prince T'Challa." Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, wait, why didn't my mom tell me? Did he know that this kid existed? And obviously she realized that obviously they did this to protect him.
You know, her mom wanted
And
to tell her,
yeah, mom wanted to
Yeah.
tell her, yeah, she got cut off
but
when the
I
Namor
only
came.
realized that on second watch. I was like, "Oh, that's what she was gonna
Yeah, to say.
say."
That was just gonna say. But I think it was seeing her, it was so emotional because you could see her taking a role like, you know what, okay, I have to protect, I've got to do this right because I've got a nephew to think about. And you could tell she was ready to take on like, okay, I'm gonna be to you what your dad was to me.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, yeah, I cried like a baby.
Again, that's another thing that was just way more emotional for me second time I watched it than the first. I don't understand. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of theorizing of is he going to go to look, is T'Challa going to go, and Prince T'Challa going to go to space and then Kang would take him and then he comes back 5 years later and he's like 20 plus. Like, are they going to make him Black Panther in like next 3 years? I don't want to do all of that because like we know that guy is not going to stay child forever. Like he's going to become Black Panther very soon. He's going to become King T'Challa very soon. But anyway,
I think just on him though, I swear. So basically, I could kind of guess when I heard that. What's her name?
Shuri,
No, Nakia. When Nakia went away, I could kind of guess that. Oh, okay. I think Nakia had a kid, but you kind of see him.
He's in the beginning.
He's in
when
Ramonda
comes.
Yeah. I think she says bonjour to him, and he's like, "Oh, bonjour," and then he just walks away.
He's like, "Are you looking for the headmistress?"
Yeah,
she takes everything, yeah.
And I was like, that's a lot of screen time for this little boy. Like, this random little boy.
No, but it was not him. There were I think there were two other girls there as well. Two other kids as well.
Yeah, but then he was...
I love how you clock...
He had a conversation.
I mean, I did not... I just thought it was just a kid. So I'm not even... Like, I just thought it was a kid.
Oh, no, I felt like, that's a lot of screen time.
When he comes up in the mid-credits, the two guys back to my right just start shouting, I knew it! I was like, calm down. Okay, calm down.
To be fair, that was me in cinema hall though.
I mean, shouting, I knew it.
I was like, I knew it.
With your hot coffee spilling. Okay, let's quickly just run. We have to talk about the filmmaking in this movie. I mean, we've already mentioned the acting. The acting is universally good. We've mentioned people that were better than good, so that's fine. Coogler, again, one of the best directors of his generation. I'm beginning to wonder maybe we don't even give enough credit for his pen, because he's written or co-written every movie that he's done, like Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther 1, Black Panther 2. So maybe he's actually a very good writer as well. Ruth fucking Carter, man. So Mrs. Ruth Carter won an Oscar for costume design, the first Black Panther. And look,
she needs to win it again.
I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if the Academy is going to show them love again, but like, this movie, first of all, the burial fits. I was like, this is good, but obviously I saw this in the trailer. Then the UN stuff. I think I shouted out, like, first of all, what Queen is wearing, what her male Kingsguard are wearing. And then when did the Ram actually come in those grey, I don't know what to call them. I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
Ruth Carter.
Yeah, that was hard, actually.
And then obviously they go to Talokan and everybody's just wearing. I was like, this is so good. Like, look, she should win. Just everything being equal, she should win again. I don't know if she would, but like, I was like, and then just, because I remember the first one, they kind of 3D printed Angela Bassett's like head piece.
Really?
For the first one, yeah. Nice. So I don't know if they did that again, because she wore like 3 different ones this time around. So like, just like, do that again. But yeah, I just like the costume was just incredible. Again,
the Namora's and Atuma's costume were insane.
So many different kinds of costumes. Like, it's like you have the normal Black Panther that we know from the first one, so it's like all traditional mixed with Afro-futuristic, whatever. But then like the Talokans is like beads and like swimming stuff. I'm just like, oh my God.
And the dress that Namor gave Shuri.
Yeah, that
even
really nice.
Even Shuri's Black Panther fit was hard. The combo of Killmonger's gold and T'Challa's silk.
Yeah.
Oscars need to be won. Oscar needs to be won.
I just
and
like.
I think a quick one on her suit as well. I like how she incorporated her those lion heads that she has with the sonic.
Oh
things.
yeah, and then
I
the
like how she
dots and the dots
incorporated
as well.
The dots for Killmonger as well.
Yeah. I mean, Hannah Beachler did the production design for the first one, won the Oscar for that one as well. Again, the production design here is just like Talokan City alone. Like, it looks like a city. It looks like an underwater city. Again, just like...
Sorry, did you guys watch this movie in super screen?
I watched in super screen.
Okay, because I can't lie, I've been bamboozled. I've been robbed of an experience.
Go back.
Once again, 4DX, I do not recommend.
Go back and watch it again.
So,
you can watch it again.
Everything was just blurry, and at some points I wanted to actually just like be like, what have I paid for? So yeah,
I think you should go again. I think you should go again.
I actually will.
Screen.
I actually need to go again.
Or even just 2D. You didn't even watching super screen. Just not want 2D.
I might go tomorrow. You know. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look. Okay, Hannah Beachler.
It's the music. It's the music.
Let's talk about the music, man. Because Ludwig Göransson. Oh my god, this man deserves. This man deserves. Like
that Burna Boy song.
So I have 3 points in which the needle drop killed me. The car chase scene, because that was the first time I was beginning to have fun in the movie. I was like, allowed myself to have fun. Then Shuri in Talokan, like we've discussed, when the guitar string comes and then, like you said, the woman sings in italics. Then that Stormzy Burna Boy needle drop. Because I don't listen to the album before I watched the movie.
Yeah.
So I knew Burna Boy had the song, I knew songs, but I didn't know what the songs were. And then you hear Stormzy's voice, and then they're 2 different songs. They're not even the same song, go. Like, he took different songs from the album and made them. I was like,
into one.
I was like, this
even the Fireboy song at the end when she's planting the herb, where he was no.
Yeah.
Do you know what he did?
I was like, this movie has Burna Boy and Fireboy DML. And I was like, what is going on? I feel like,
but she was bopping to Afrobeats though.
Yeah, she was.
You can hear it very silently in her lab. She always bops to Afrobeats.
Like,
I was like, but that was the main needle drop. That Stormzy Burna Boy needle drop. I was like, this is Ludwig. Thank you. And then
I heard Stormzy singing, and I was like, so Mike, and then it went into Burna Boy, and I was like, oh.
I don't think I even knew it was Stormzy the first time I watched the movie, because I would listen to the soundtrack after I watched the movie the first time. I was like, who is this guy? This guy sounds familiar. But like, if Stormzy's on the album, Stormzy should be rapping. I was like, Stormzy's singing. And then I was like, oh my god. And obviously Burna Boy, I know who Burna Boy is. I was like, that needle drop was just very good. I mean, Ludwig. So, I mean, speaking of music, while we're there, I want to shout out, she doesn't listen to this podcast, I'm sure, but I want to shout out Lady Donnelly, a friend of mine, who was like a producer on the album. So, like, I mean, well done to you, Donnelly, if you're listening to this. Yeah, Lady Donnelly, go listen to her, Lady Donnelly. But yeah, I mean, we can do that quickly to segue into the Oscars and everything. I mean, this movie got, I think, 7 Oscar nominations last year. For the first one, won 3. I really doubt, like, the Academy is not really someone that
favors him twice.
He's wanted to show a superhero movie love one time. The second time for a sequel is very, very rare. So I'll be very surprised if they get any love again. But like, it's possible that like someone like Ruth Carter can sneak in and maybe win. Ludwig, maybe. Everybody loves Rihanna. It's her first song in like forever. So maybe she gets a nomination for best song. She'll
get one for that.
Yeah.
Probably her last as well.
Probably her last song. Yeah. She has 2 songs on the album. Maybe her last 2.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Feige needs to pay underneath the table, yeah? Because for me, he needs to do something. Because Angela or Letitia...
Send some checks, some envelopes with some money inside.
You need to rub your hands. You need to shake some hands. I'm sorry. You need to do what FIFA were doing to get the World Cups. I'm sorry. Nah, we need to get into our Russia-Qatar bag because Letitia or Angela need to be right in there.
Yeah.
Because
I think Angela is a better shout than
Angela's a better shout.
Plus she died. Dying is always like Oscar bait.
Yeah.
Like,
which will make me feel...
It's easier to campaign.
Yeah, because I think Letitia will push for the BAFTA here. Get some home love. Do you know what I mean?
She might actually get... That's not too... BAFTA nomination is not impossible.
I think a BAFTA Golden Globe, small for Letitia. It's calm. We can cope with that. I don't mind.
It's coming at the right time.
Yes, come at the right time. But they need an ensemble at the SAGs. I think they'll probably win an ensemble.
I don't know if they'll win. Probably get a nomination. But
they'll probably get...
Yeah. All this being said, I'm surprised they get 0. Like, I know the Oscars. I know the Academy. Like,
yeah, they're bad minds.
The anger against superhero movies is way worse than it was 4 years ago. So I really doubt them. Sure. I can very see a zero Oscar nomination scenario. But like, look, I really enjoyed this movie. it has its flaws. We didn't talk about the surprise. I mean, we mentioned Killmonger. I was surprised about that. Now, Michael B. Jordan has been in every movie Coogler has directed, which is just, I was like, I thought this was going to be one the first time, but no. Val surprised me, even though, like we said, I think the movie suffers from her inclusion. I don't know, like, I like this movie a lot. Like, this movie has its flaws. Nobody's like, but I just feel like and back to what you said about it being better, I don't think that is, I don't want to say that that's not true, because I've had thoughts in the last few days. I'm like, is this movie better? Like, this movie is definitely more impactful, emotional to me. For society, I think the first one is probably more impactful because the first one did whatever it did. That was a big deal. The first one is obviously more lean. But this movie just has such a difficult task to achieve. The first one had it because the first black-led superhero movie, but this one just had so much to do, and I think it managed to do that. And I just think like it's one of those things like Endgame, right, where it rewards those of us who have watched 30 of these movies and these 6 or 7 Disney Plus shows. Like, it rewards us, and I know that not everybody enjoys it the way we enjoyed it, the 3 of us. Like, that's fine. I know people are like, oh, this is a good movie. Or some people are like, it's even a bad movie, but like, for 3 of us who have obviously watched these movies for so long, I know, and have a connection to both the source material and like the story, the Chadwick and all of it, I know it definitely rewards us a lot more than the average viewer. So I love this movie. Does anyone have any final thoughts before we head out? We're trying to keep it under 2 hours.
Yeah, I just have 2. Sorry, I always do this. I think
so. Over 2 hours then.
Yeah. Obviously, the first one is Shuri's AI. Incredible. I think.
Do you know who voices it?
No.
Trevor Noah.
Oh, mad.
Yeah.
Swear down, that's why I recognised it.
Yeah.
I was like, I've heard this nigga from somewhere. I don't know where I could hear him from.
Cracking his jokes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously she probably would have gotten inspiration from Jarvis's merge with
I think he was
Mind Stone.
And I think Creel was in the first one, also by the Trevor Noah, but he was at the end because he was controlling the ships. I don't think he was as prominent in the first one than this one.
True.
But yeah,
it's very good.
But I think everybody's like, any AI is going to follow Jarvis on Friday. Yeah.
And then the second thing I was going to say is the people of Wakanda and their propensity to learn languages is incredible. Because I don't know how Okoye and M'Baku learnt the language of Daloka.
But I think they're just okay. I don't know about quickly, but as in, I think they definitely just taught language. Like, they definitely know all of them. Like, you sound like Nakia, like French, Spanish, all of those things.
Oh yeah, Nakia's language.
But I guess she was a spy. Well. Also, like, I know we talk about we talk about the outfits, and we're always talking about like the back to with cuts. We talk about like traditional ones. Like, some of the normal clothes they were wearing were incredible. Like, you're right when she went to Cambridge.
Her tracksuit was hard. And I know she was joking about how Okoye was dressed. Okoye's outfit was
with her LV glasses.
Well. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So hard. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a car nerd. The cars in this movie were incredible as well. That Lexus that they were driving, the Mustang that she had.
Free ads. What's this?
Like, wow.
Do you think Lexus or Mustang are paying me money?
I mean, I need a Lexus in my life, so Lexus.
Yeah, we really love Lexus. Yeah. Anyways, Priscilla, any final thoughts?
Trying to think. I don't know. This one's probably going to stick with me for a while. It's best film in Phase 4.
Yeah.
By a country mile. I'm very controversial. But wait, I'll see what happens in my second watch. I'm not going to lie, I'm sneaking it in my top 10. It's in my top 10.
I don't think that's impossible. I don't think that, like... I mean, I don't know what my top 10 is, but I don't think that's that far-fetched. Because if this movie is going neck and neck with the original Black Panther, obviously we're still very reactionary right now. Like, I don't think top 10 is a third.
Because I feel like...
It has some bad movies, has some duds. Like, I don't think top 10 is ridiculous to say.
I feel like...
That doesn't get tighter. Because this movie doesn't have... I don't know. The reason about top 5, because this movie doesn't have rewatchability like that for me. Because obviously it's so heavy. Like, and also it's long. Like, I'm gonna watch Winter Soldier way more than I'm ever gonna watch this movie.
I think we should create a poll on this. Tell us what your top 5 is after you see this movie.
To the 5
yes.
listeners?
Yeah.
Come
tell us. Yeah, actually tell us what your top 5 is after you see this movie.
I will judge everyone who does not put the Winter Soldier in their top 5. If I don't see the Winter Soldier in the top 5, the opinion is
I-
null and void.
I think that's the one Marvel movie that like every Marvel fan just has in there. I've seen too many lists.
There's some
I feel
contrarians.
like you're about to something that's going to make me kick out of this podcast.
I need to see the full list again. Like, I need to
Which that's what
refresh
is in
my
your top
mind.
5. I don't know, like it should always be
The
in your top
Winter
five.
Soldier is automatic. It's
Is
the
it better
first
than
one I
the
named.
original Iron Man? This movie,
Oh, what?
This film,
yeah,
is it better than the original Iron Man?
yeah, to you. Why did you say that? Like, have you watched the original Iron Man? Like, that's a really good movie.
I watched it a few. That's this movie I've watched the most.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. Like, it's not
Nah,
it's
but
not
I
a
think
slam
this one-
dunk.
I think this one's better. I definitely
I would have this.
Yeah,
one
but I don't
better.
think it's like an easy answer like that.
I'll
Anyway,
have this one better than the original Iron Man.
Anyway, okay, guys. The water is finally drying up, and M'Baku is about to become king of Wakanda. So
True. I actually wanted to see him eat the heart-shaped herb.
no, I don't think we can talk about this quickly now. I don't think him becoming king will make him Black Panther.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
I think
This
he'll
is
just be king.
Separate. He'll just be
This is
king.
my nerd intrigue. I want to see him.
I think he'll be king and Shuri will
Super
be Black Panther.
Be Black
Anyways,
Panther.
M'Baku is challenging for the title, so I guess that's time for us to wrap up and leave here.
Cool.
Thank you to Priscilla, thank you to Robert for coming on this podcast and talking about Wakanda and Talocan City with me.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
Lexus, at me.
Please stop.
Tenok at me,
guys,
at me.
Join us next week when I'll be going with Okoye to visit Wakabi in prison because we'll be joined by Daniel Kaluuya. Bye, guys.
My lookalike.
No,
Safe.
stop. That's not true. Bye.